What's up, everyone? Shoebooty Sports coming at you Tuesday night. This is your host, Graham Powell, co-host Bradley Brown over there. Say what's up, Brad.
What's happening?
College football playoff. That's what's happening or happened. Well, I guess it's still technically happening. Got the national championship game Monday at 6:30. That's next Monday, 6 days from tonight. Look at that math there. All right, so quick shout out to our sponsor. Shoebooty Sports is presented by Rhino Races. Rhino Races is a virtual race series that offers 5 different races: a 5K, 10K, half marathon, a marathon, and the Rhino Ultra. You can sign up for one or all 5 of their races at rhinoraces.com. Run your race at your convenience, track it with your fitness app of choice, screenshot your results as proof of completion, submit that screenshot to rhinoraces.com under the submit results section. Once your results are verified by Rhino Races staff, your award will be shipped to you by mail. Also, check out their gear section while you're there for t-shirts, wristbands, decals, and more. That's rhinoraces.com. Rhino Races is the premier virtual running series, and you can find us, Shoebooty Sports, on Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcast. Subscribe to the YouTube channel and follow us on Twitter at Shoebooty Sports. Okay, bowl season. Let's just talk a little bit about bowl season. I hate what's happened to bowl season. Bowl season is
Yeah.
dead. It's all but dead. NIL and the transfer portal have killed bowl season. Players getting to just leave and then go start immediately elsewhere has led to this massive wave and influx of people going into the transfer portal. I mean, it's insane. It's chaotic. Nobody predicted this. Whenever we would hear about somebody transferring, I mean, they were few and far between because you had to sit out a year. It
Yeah.
wasn't a rare thing, but amongst the number of athletes, it was a rare thing. It wasn't something a lot of them did. Now everybody's doing it. I mean, there are so many. It seems like a quarter of the team is in the transfer portal every year, if that. As a result, players are sitting out bowl games now. Like what drove me a little nuts. I had all 3 games on. It might have been New Year's Day. I can't remember. I guess it was New Year's Day. Yesterday, the LSU Wisconsin game. It was a good game.
Yeah.
It was a competitive game. Good game. One of the few. Haven't been a lot of those this bowl season. There've been some, but not a lot. And the announcers, this stood out to me. One of the announcers said something along the lines of, this game means something to these players. They wanted to play in this game. It means something to them. You can see it, and I'm like, by their play on the field, and wasn't that verbatim, but that was the message. And what popped into my head immediately, yeah, the Heisman Trophy winner isn't even playing. He's a healthy scratch sitting there on the sideline. I mean, yeah, cheering his teammates on, doing all the things you should do if you're gonna opt out. But I hate it. Like we're not seeing the teams play. You're seeing the B team play in these bowl games. The Heisman Trophy winner didn't even play in a bowl game. Like bowl games
Yeah.
used to mean something. I don't know how many players sit out for Ole Miss. I know a lot sat out for Penn State in that game. What was it? The Peach Bowl? Is that what it was? Whatever
I think the
sponsor.
Peach Bowl. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever sponsor Peach Bowl.
Yeah. Because they were in
And
Atlanta. So
yeah, and Ole Miss, I mean, shout out to them. Like it seemed like all their guys were playing. I mean, you had Jackson Dart at quarterback, Quinshawn Junkins. I mean, all their guys seemingly were out there playing, and they got the win. And Ole Miss's first 11-win season ever, program history. So, I mean, congrats to them. Alabama had no one sit out. Well, okay, that was a bad example. Um, because obviously college football playoff. But I'm thinking of last year when I say that. Um, yeah, Bryce Young, Will Anderson Jr., all those guys played last year. And I don't know how many guys Georgia had sit out. I know they had Brock Bowers sit out. Of course, he's also been kind of banged up too. you know,
Yeah.
and he is going to be a very high draft pick, probably top
Yes, he
5.
is.
And Georgia, well, Florida State didn't even show up. Uh, the guys that opted out, transfer portal, whatever they're doing, the guys that aren't playing, uh, they were about as useful as the guys that were out there for Florida State in that game. That was an embarrassment. That was an embarrassment by Florida State. That night, I went to Walmart to go get some stuff here in Cabot, Arkansas. I went to Walmart to go get some things, and there was a guy. I saw a guy down one of the food aisles, like walking with his girl, and he was wearing a Florida State shirt. And I like had to double take. I was like, "Dude, you're gutsy for wearing that tonight." Yeah, support your school, but wow, like you're gonna
Yeah.
pick tonight to wear that. Like, man, that's you're just asking to get ripped on for that. And this is coming from a guy that was a big Florida State football fan, me in the '90s growing up. But that was an embarrassment. That wasn't Florida State football. But this isn't the bowl season we grew up with either. This is this is trash. This is hot garbage. I hate it. I hate what the NIL and the transfer portal have done to bowl season. And I'm not trying to be the get off my lawn guy. I understand it's professional football, things are changing, but there's got to be some middle ground here. Like, it's gone from NCAA taking all the money. Like, I mean, imagine how much money they made off of Johnny Manziel and Tim Tebow and the SC teams when it was Leinart and Bush. Of course, Bush got some of that money, right?
Yeah. Well, so did Manziel.
Yeah, well, yeah, that too. But the point is, they should have gotten their share, I guess. It's although it's those were the rules then. I mean, that was the rules, and it's not like they were that desperate. I mean, when we were in school, the football team and Arkansas was a lot better than they are now then,
Yeah.
but it wasn't like they were a top tier program even then. And those guys were rock stars on campus.
Yeah. Got treated like kings, man, like royalty.
Yeah, could go
And,
anywhere
and
in
got a
town.
free
Yeah,
education. Yeah.
yeah, got a free education at the University of Arkansas, and statute of limitations are probably up on this, but pretty much got a free meal anywhere they could go in town.
Oh, yeah.
I did that, and I wasn't an
Yeah.
athlete. I just had
Yeah.
connections. So
I gave a
it,
lot of athletes free meals,
yeah,
except for Alex Tejada since he couldn't kick a field goal. But I
yeah,
gave lots of athletes free meals.
exactly. And same, I handed out smoothies to athletes that weren't even, very good. They were the best we had, I guess. But yeah, I hooked them up. Sure. Point is, those poor college kids weren't doing that bad.
Yeah.
And I'm not really saying bring that back, but I would much rather have that and that bowl season that came with it as opposed to what we're seeing now. This is there's got to be a middle ground as opposed to just the Wild West, which is what we have now. There's got to be a middle ground there, and I don't know how to fix it. Um, maybe I mean, that's what those guys get paid to do. Whatever committee that they decide to put into place that decides college football playoff teams, etc. You can put together a committee to figure this thing out.
I know a couple of ways to fix it. You move back the transfer window like till after the new year, till after bowl season. You put in contract stipulations in their NIL deal saying if they opt out of the bowl game or if they transfer early, that they have to pay back all the funds that were given to them by said NIL. Put an
Hell
end to a bunch
yes.
of this crap.
Hell yes. There you go, Brad. Bradley Brown bringing solutions here to this show.
There's plenty of other stuff you can do, but that's a good start.
That is a damn good start. I love that. I love that idea. I was going to say just immediately what popped into my head was bring it back to where, you have to sit out a year to transfer. But I like what you said. I think better. At least that's a start. You know, like you have to finish the season.
Yeah.
I mean, it means something to go to a bowl game. Like that's your goal. Like that used to be everybody's goal to get to a bowl game. And you win the thing. I mean, it's a successful season. The with the college football playoff, the bowl games have become meaningless to a lot of players. And I don't understand it. It still means something. I didn't even see the Pop Tart Bowl, but I saw like the shenanigans and I was like, that's fun.
Oh man. Yeah.
Like that's
Pop-Tart Bowl better be back next year.
I'm gonna
That's
say
all I
like
gotta say.
like that was fun, you know,
Yeah.
and that's what bowl season is, or is supposed to be. The LA Bowl, Gronk sponsoring the thing, having a big championship belt. Uh, the Cheez It Bowl, the Duke's Mayo Bowl, getting a
Yeah.
mayonnaise bath at the end of it. Essentially, it's fun, man. It's bowl season. Like that's what bowl season is supposed to be. It starts around Christmas time. It ends. You're wrapping it up after Christmas. I mean, it's just a great time of year for football, and you actually a lot of people have time off to actually enjoy it, and it's not the same as it used to be. It's I don't know, the NIL and the transfer portal have killed it, and it irritates the heck out of me. That's the nicest way I can say it. But that was an excellent suggestion. Was that something you just thought of off the top of your head, or you sitting there just you stewed on that for a little bit and like this is a good way to fix it?
Oh, I've stewed on it for a little bit. I've heard other people's have similar kind of thoughts on it. Um, but yeah, that's two best ideas I could come up with.
I think that's the best thing you've ever brought to the show.
Probably.
Not dissing the other things, the other like three things, but
Yeah.
that was by far the best. That was excellent. Like that was pure gold that came out of your mouth. We need to get whoever's on the college football committee. We need to send them the link to the show. And but I love the yeah I love that idea. That's it. That's at the very least a great place to start. Okay, so the bowl season itself not very good.
No.
But yesterday's and last night's games almost made me forget about it for a little while at least. Two great games, especially that first one, Alabama Michigan. Wow.
Hated the outcome of both of them because those are not who I bet on to win. So
Yeah, I was gonna say yeah, we whiffed on both of them. Whiffed on both of those picks. I'm not surprised by the Washington win. I'm not surprised by either one really. It was, but I'm a little bit surprised. I thought Alabama would win it.
yeah.
Especially in the second half when they took the lead. I was like, this is where they're going to pull away. This is where they're going to pound on Michigan.
Uh,
Michigan didn't
once
go away, and it was the
once
opposite in
Milrow had
overtime.
once Milrow had that fumble, man, I figured it was going to go downhill from there. But yeah, hell, the whole first half, man, they pretty much got pushed around everywhere, and yeah, they were lucky to only be down by 3 at the half, dude.
You're
Like,
talking about Michigan.
yeah, Michigan was pushing Bama around.
Okay, you're talking about Alabama.
Yeah,
Okay, all
Alabama
right.
was down at the half.
Yeah, it was just I'm just translating for those listening on the road and all that stuff.
Yeah,
But yes, it was it was a great game. I thought Alabama would when they did take the lead, I thought they would pull away. Didn't happen. Overtime, it was a complete you saw Milrow's confidence go away
oh yeah.
on that final drive of the game on that final drive of regulation. Not in overtime. That final
Oh, in
drive in
overtime, you could see it in
regulation.
his eyes, man.
Yeah.
Like
The moment was big.
before those two
Big for him.
timeouts. Yeah, before one of the worst play calls I've ever seen in football history. You could see, man, the confidence was not there.
What play are you talking about?
The final play of overtime for Alabama. Quarterback sneak up the middle. Of course, it was a low snap. The center for Alabama should probably be taken out back and beaten for those terrible snaps that he did that game. But then again, you don't call that for fourth and three, fourth and goal from the three, and you call a quarterback sneak. Are you kidding?
We're not advocating any beating, by the way, just to clarify. But I'm going to defend the play call a little bit. It looked terrible. In hindsight, it was awful. Like it was a low snap. Didn't do Milrow any favors, and it was something Michigan snuffed out right away. But I'm going to defend it a little bit because Bill O'Brien and company saw what we saw. We saw Milrow's confidence shaken. Do you really want to put the ball in his hand? A guy who's not a great, he's not a great thrower anyway. You really
No,
want
he's not.
him? I mean, yeah, he had a miracle throw to Auburn in the Auburn game.
Well, it's what you get whenever you rush two and spy one
Yeah, and
and
that's
have
why they
30 seconds
also
to throw it.
call
Yeah.
it the Milrow miracle. But it was we've seen. I mean, we saw his confidence shaken, and like I said, not a great passer anyway. Like, do you really want to put it in his hands
He
like that?
he had some ugly passes, man, in that game.
Yes, but he's had
Ugly.
ugly passes all year. He's gotten better, but I mean, yeah, he was awful at the beginning of the
He,
season. There's a reason
he
they
had
they
ugly
benched
he
him.
had ugly short passes, dude. Usually he has just ugly long passes, but dude, he missed some very short passes into the flat. God awful.
Yeah, the point is, like, what does he do best? He makes plays with his feet. He's
Yeah.
probably the fastest guy on the field. At least that's what they're saying. He's fast. And I can understand the play call. And when you got an offensive line like Alabama does, I get it. Spread them out and then tuck it and just try to power your way in the end zone. Like I said, hindsight, bad play call. I would have done different. I would have given him at least an RPO option. Like that's
Yeah.
been my gripe with when Kendall Browse had KJ Jefferson on those 2-point plays. Like remember the Ole Miss game in 21 when they went for two and it was like a rollout pass and then just a kind of a chunk in the back of the end zone. It made no sense. I'm like, you got KJ Jefferson, you got a guy that can run. Give him an
Yeah.
RPO option. Give him a handoff here, tuck, roll out or pass, or have a tight end or fullback underneath that can catch it right there if that's open too. Like a pitch, like we see the Chiefs do all the time.
Yeah.
Uh, like that's my go-to play if in a situation like that. Uh, I understand wanting to get the ball to Milrow and have him do what he does best, make plays with his legs. But in that situation, like you've gotten that far with him, you gotta give him a little more than that. But at the
It's
same
really
time,
the only
yeah,
Yeah, it's really the only way they moved the ball pretty much most of the night. Bama was with Miro's legs, but in that situation, dude, Michigan's just hoping you put it in his hands, man, because that's all they're keying on.
yeah,
They're not
it
keying on
was.
anyone else.
Yeah, McCarthy and company. I mean, JJ McCarthy made big time plays. He made big time throws. Plays with his legs. He runs a 4.4. A lot of people don't realize that. Michigan fans do, but yeah. JJ McCarthy's a player, man. And even on some of those throws in the second half, where he's throwing just darts to his receivers and it went right through like one guy's
Oh
hands
yeah,
in
he had
particular.
a lot of drops too. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean that was right there. It was a fastball. I get it,
yeah,
but as a receiver, you still got to make that catch. And yeah, that was the that was the difference. Quarterback play. One guy was a stud and not only was ready for the moment, he elevated in that moment. Milrow crumbled. He full on crumbled. The stage got too big, and
yeah. I think it quarterback play was one aspect, but dude, offensive line, defensive line for Michigan was taking care of business. They were pushing them Bama boys around. And yeah, you getting that kind of protection against Bama, yeah, you're going to be able to complete some passes. But dude, they were pushing those guys back 2 yards just right off the snap. Like you don't
there's
see
a
that every day.
Yeah, there's a reason that running back, I can't remember his name. I think he has Michigan's all-time single season record for
Yeah.
rushing touchdowns.
Yep.
And that's how you do it. You have a stout, strong offensive line. I mean, Harbaugh knows what he's doing. He knows how you compete with these SEC teams,
Yep.
or just anybody. Big Ten teams. You got to be big up front. You got to be dominant up front on both sides of the ball. And
He knows
you,
how to compete with a lot. He knows how to compete with everybody. He's got a lot of tape.
yeah, yeah, that too. And signals. But either way, the guy wins. He's won everywhere he's gone, and I'm not surprised Michigan took care of. I'm not surprised Michigan won. My money would have been on Alabama, but I'm not surprised Michigan won. I'm not surprised by either outcome.
I'm not surprised by either, but man, yeah, who I put my money on was just not the victor. So you win some, you lose some. This bowl season, you probably lost a lot because it was crap.
By crap, you mean like unpredictable in spots, at least
Oh
on
yeah.
your end. You're
Well,
saying that
on
because
my
you
end.
lost money. You're saying that because you lost money too, though.
Well, you put money on a team, and then 2 days before they're supposed to play, they're like, "Oh, we're setting six of our starters." Oh, really? I
Yeah,
can't take back that bet. Thanks, guys.
yeah. There's
Thank you a
that
lot.
too. Yeah, I would stay away from gambling in a bowl game where it's so unpredictable like that. Yeah, I would stay away from that one. College football playoff, sure, that's one thing, but bowl games where you're going to have all these guys sitting and a lot of them will be unannounced that they're sitting. Yeah, I'm staying away from that. I'm steering clear of that. It's a crapshoot at that point, man. But yeah, McCarthy rose to the occasion. Milrow crumbled. You know, when things started to get dicey, when they really needed a playmaker to step up, that's when he was. I mean, you like you said, you could see it in his eyes. It was just on that final drive of regulation. I knew then. I was like, they're in trouble. Alabama's in
Yeah.
trouble. And yeah, Michigan took care of business. They're going to the national championship to play Washington, the Washington Huskies. Man, UW. What a and that it was a heck of a game in the first half. The second half, or I didn't even see the third quarter. I saw none of the third quarter. I was I was like doing some meal prep. I had to get a haircut and all this, and then a shower. Um, so by the time I did all that, I started at halftime, and by the time I finished, it was the start of the fourth quarter. And I come in, and it's a two-score game. Washington's up. I think it was 31-14, or no, 34-21. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, 34-21. And so I'm thinking, okay, Washington's going to separate themselves. No, Texas I mean, not only made it a game, about came back and won the thing.
Yeah.
I wasn't crazy about the play calls down the stretch at the end. Sark's better than that, especially on like you had essentially like three timeouts because of like an injury timeout
Yeah. The injury timeouts what made it interesting.
and no, and then you call timeout, and then Alabama calls timeout, and then
Oh,
you come out
Alabama
and you
wasn't even
run.
playing in the game.
Oh, excuse me. Yeah, I'm in Washington. Yeah, yeah, misspoke a little bit there. This is clearly decaf coffee. Um, yeah, my bad there. Washington calls timeout. So basically, you had three timeouts, and then you come out and then you run the ball with when you don't have any more timeouts. Like, I mean, you get a tackle there. I mean, it's ball game
Yep.
in inbounds. That I was like, what are you doing there? And so, and I didn't. I don't know. I guess I didn't hate the one-on-one play at the end of the game, but I don't know. I feel like you could come up with a better play call than that.
Did you hear at the beginning of the game where they said Sark runs 40, his first 40 plays are all scripted for for standard downs.
No, I did not hear that. Doesn't surprise
40.
me. That's a
Yeah.
lot. That surprises me a little bit. The number that's that high. Some of it's got to be feel though. I mean, but it's hard to argue. I mean, Texas has had a lot of success this year, and they were in that game and could have won it. And if you'd have told me Texas would win the national championship, I wouldn't have been surprised. I mean, I thought they had about as good of a shot as anyone.
Yeah.
But Washington just keeps. It's hard to say surprising people, but they keep surprising people. It's they keep winning. I thought
Yeah.
Oregon would beat them in the Pac-12 championship. I thought Texas would beat them in the semifinal round. And they keep winning. But Michael Penix Jr., man, he throws as good of a deep ball as I've seen in a long time. I mean,
Pretty.
it's on the money.
And he's got some great receivers, but this whole story about people are like, oh, well, he got, Penix got the Heisman stolen away from him. No, he didn't. He didn't show up in all of his games. So I don't want to hear any of that. They had some games that were really ugly and they barely squeaked by. So I don't want to hear that at
Especially
all.
down the stretch. Especially
Yeah.
down the stretch, when he kind of got put into that spotlight, that Heisman spotlight.
Yeah.
He stopped. He wasn't the story. He wasn't the story of the game. They were barely beating. I mean, they barely got by Washington State
Yep.
in the final game of the regular season. There's a reason I picked Oregon to beat them in the Pac-12 championship. You too. Oregon was red hot. I mean, they were red
Yep.
hot. And I mean, just that offense was firing on all cylinders, and Washington was just squeaking by. They were just squeaking by opponents left and right, leading up to the conference championship game. But they found a way. I mean, they just found a way to win it, and they separated themselves last night and found a way to hold on. But it's like you said. I mean, they got some great receivers too. But man, yeah, Michael Penix Jr. was something special. If I were to pick Washington, if I were to, of course, next week's show will be the day after the national championship game. So we're obviously going to make our predictions here. But if I were to pick Washington to win the Natty, it would be because of Michael Penix Jr.
Yes.
It would be because of him. If you're a pro prospect, who are you taking over? Who are you taking out of those two, McCarthy or Penix?
Is McCarthy a senior?
No, he's a junior, but I mean, he's good.
Oh,
Surely he's going.
I mean, that's tough. Um, man, from their college resume, I'd have to go with Penix, but I would also be hesitant because Penix has had some injury issues in the past. So I'd still have to go Penix, though.
I would go Michael Penix just because of the that just look at him throw. I mean,
I mean, he was,
McCarthy's a player. He's a football player, but he
yeah,
throws the ball almost like a baseball. I mean, he throws darts. I mean, and Penix just has just a gorgeous touch, especially on the deep ball. Uh,
yeah,
his just arm talent, just the way he can throw the ball down the field is what separates it for me. Because you got to make those. I mean, you got to throw it in a bucket, on those deep
yeah.
balls at the next level. Michael Penix can do that. I
Well,
would take him. You could argue he should. I mean, he won't go over Caleb Williams. He won't get drafted over him.
they're saying he should,
But I
but
mean, you can make a case that he,
especially after USC's backup threw for 6 touchdowns in
yeah,
their
he had
bowl
it.
game.
Yeah, he had a game.
So,
I saw the
but yeah,
stats for that one.
the what I read, little snippet I read today was, a good passer can hit a door. A great passer can hit the window. Penix was hitting the damn doorknob on the door. Like he was just pinpoint accurate. So
I think you reversed that. I think you reversed that.
yeah.
Hang on a
Then
minute. You're so
A door's bigger than a window.
a great passer can hit
A
the
good
window.
passer, a good passer can hit a door frame. A great
Okay.
passer can hit a window. Penix was hitting the doorknob on.
Okay, I got it now. All right. I think I thought you said doorknob or something early. Cuz I've heard a similar saying like a great passer can hit the doorknob or a good passer can hit the doorknob or a great passer can, I'm butchering this. An elite passer can hit the keyhole. Like something weird like that. I was expecting keyhole to come and then you said
Yeah,
doorknob.
maybe I misquoted. Maybe it was keyhole, but still, he's good.
I didn't do that saying any favors because I couldn't get it straight either. It's only been like 5 years since I've heard it. But yes, Penix just I mean, like McCarthy's an athlete. McCarthy's an athlete, a heck of a quarterback. He's going to be a high draft pick, probably first round. There's gonna be a lot of quarterbacks taken in the first round this year. This year now, 2024. Happy New Year,
Yeah.
by the way, everyone. Yeah,
Oh
I'm
yeah.
going Michael
Happy New Year.
Penix. Yeah, I'm going Michael Penix over McCarthy. Would you draft him over Caleb Williams though? If you're the Bears, would you who would you draft if you're the Bears? Like right now. The draft starts tomorrow. Who are you taking?
Marvin Harrison Jr.
Really?
Yes.
Yes,
He'll
absolute stud, future Hall of Famer. As long as he stays healthy, knock on some wood, hope he does. He's every bit his dad and probably then some.
take that dude. I mean, Fields has been showing some promise here of late. Who knows? You bring in Caleb Williams, he goes through 2 years of struggling as well, and then you're still nowhere. I say draft that wide receiver, maybe trade off another top pick to, get you more picks down the road in later rounds for this year and load up.
I mean, you kind of already got a lot of picks though. I mean you'd pass on. Okay, who's the first quarterback you take off the board?
It's probably going to be Williams.
Okay, yeah, we're on the same page there. I was like, I like Michael
Yeah.
Penix Jr., but I'm still drafting Caleb Williams,
Yes.
and I'm taking him first overall. As much as I love Marvin Harrison Jr., I'm not so. I mean, yeah, Fields is showing improvement, but I mean, he still plays that style of you know running around. I mean, that's not gonna last. I mean, Caleb Williams can run around, but he
Yes.
does. But he runs around and then makes a great throw. Uh, I'm not passing on Caleb Williams if I'm the Bears. We'll see what they do. There's a lot of momentum right now, though, to keep Justin Fields and to go get Marvin Harrison Jr. I get it. Marvin Harrison Jr. is that great, but number one pick, and I like Fields. I don't love Fields.
No.
Um, Caleb Williams. When's the last time the Bears have had a real franchise quarterback?
You got me.
And who would you say it was? Cutler. You know what I mean? Do you see
Yeah.
Justin Fields as the guy the next 10 years?
No, I don't even see him. I don't see him in the league for in 10 years.
Not with that style of play, but
No.
I don't see him in the league. I mean, just because there's new talent coming in every year, and there's only
Yeah.
32 jobs. So, so knowing all that, you'd still go Marvin Harrison Jr. Because I think Caleb Williams
You're
is a
the
10-year quarterback, a
you're the
10-year
Bears. You've
franchise
got nothing
quarterback.
to lose. The bar is set pretty low. So
Yeah, but you've never had a franchise quarterback. Um, at least in I don't know. I don't want to say my life. Like you had Jim McMahon when they won the Super Bowl, but he got
yeah.
banged up, all the
Yeah.
time, and that was his style of play. So I don't know if you have an opportunity to go get Caleb Williams, I don't think you pass on that. But Marvin
And
Harrison Jr. is
and
really
and to
good.
think they could have drafted Mahomes.
Could have drafted Mahomes, Watson.
Oh man,
Any of those guys.
idiots.
But they got Mitch Trubisky. I do like
They-
Drake May. I do like Drake May out of North Carolina. Speaking of, is that where Trubisky came from? North Carolina, I think it was North Carolina.
I don't know.
But yeah, I do like Drake May. He might be the number 2 quarterback off the board. But okay, let's jump back to the college football playoff national championship game. Let's do our picks before we get out of here. Who you got next Monday night, 6:30 kickoff? Who you got? Number 1
If
Michigan, number 2 Washington.
Yeah, Washington opened up as 4.5 point underdogs. Think they're going to come in with that underdog mindset. And if they come out with that offense and Penix is throwing it around, dude, I'm going to have to go with Washington, man. Fucking that, and I don't really like freaking Harbaugh. So
And say you are you thinking with your head or are you thinking with your emotions a little bit or both?
both.
Dude, it's really kind
Because
of
Michigan,
50.
if Washington comes out and puts up points, Michigan's not built to have those quick plays, man. They're not built for comebacks.
And Washington can score and they can score quick. I get it.
Yes, they can.
My initial reaction was Michigan. Like that was my first reaction was like Michigan, just because of their offensive line play, their defense. They can play on both sides of the ball. McCarthy's a player. They can really run the ball,
Mhm.
and if anything, keep Penix off the field. And but Michael Penix, has the ability to make me a believer. He made me second guess that, especially in the post game speech. First thing they asked him, how did it feel to win? He's like, "Well, we got one more."
Yeah.
Just full on ready for next week's Natty. So I am a big time believer in Michael Penix Jr. Having said that, to me, there's no coaching advantage. People would say, Harbaugh is the superior coach. Go look at the Washington coach's record. Look at his resume. Look at his overall record from NAIA to taking over as the Washington head coach. It's ridiculous. It's insane. So to me, there's no advantage there. But Harbaugh has built this team longer the way he wants it. Like he has built his team longer the way he wants it. He's had more time to do that. And I like JJ McCarthy. I don't know. It just feels almost kind of like destiny for Michigan. And I'm not really like a destiny guy, but I'm going to go Michigan primarily because they can run the football and play defense. I think running the football, they can keep the ball out of Penix's hands, keep him on the sideline more. That's why I'll take Michigan. So yeah, there's our picks. And guess what? We're out of time. We'll see how we did next week. But until then, Happy New Year. Enjoy the
I,
Natty.
lo- I lost my fantasy championship, by the way. I had 30-point lead with one player remaining on the other team, and that player just so happened to be Jordan Love. And the Vikings suck and made him look like the second coming of Tom Brady. And he scored 32 points. I lost by 2. Hooray.
Hooray. Till next week, y'all.